This is the Indigenous Knowledges Project, a limited series from the Leelanau Conservancy. Our goal is to elevate Anishinaabeg voices in conservation and stewardship through conversation.
One thing I've noticed when I started running into a lot of the no trespassing signs and places where I was no longer able to walk, I started paying attention to places that people were buying land, because when I would go hunting, I would end up in a place that all my life we had been going to these certain places and maybe chasing deer. We knew the runways, basically where the deer would travel to, and we knew where to go head them off. And many times I would get to those places on a new year, and when I got there, wow, there's a home built right on the deer runway, right where we for years and years had harvested deer, because we knew where they ran through, and now there's a home on that. So that changed everything. There were so many places that the animals always had traveled to and no longer could do it because there was homes in their travel areas. One of the problems I began to see was people would spend their whole life working in a city, in Chicago, Detroit, wherever, and dreaming they would come here on their vacations up north to enjoy a couple weeks here and be dreaming of moving here when they retired. Well, the problem was they would come and maybe buy 40 acres of land here and want to build their dream spot. But without understanding wildlife corridors so many times, and realtors would not explain what a wildlife corridor was, or they didn't understand it. And because they think it's important to have a big green lawn, first thing they'll do is cut down the trees on their property, which would have been part of that wildlife corridor, and they chop it all down and make a green field where they can ride their lawnmowers on, and destroying that wildlife corridor. So I see that happening all the time, and it's depressing to know that wildlife has to change their travel patterns, and that could be some of the reason why they have to head out and cross roads in places that normally maybe they wouldn't have, and therefore get run over. You know, I really think that's a serious problem with wildlife corridors disappearing, because our wildlife truly need a safe place to travel. I know out west they're building some corridors that will help wildlife travel across highways and stuff like that, which is a great thing. We need more of them. But disappearance of many wildlife corridors, which has a huge impact on the safety and the mobility of the wildlife, so that they can travel, the genetics getting dispersed. And there's so many good things about wildlife corridors that the public needs to understand. So whenever these preserves come into being, there's many times in these great places that the wildlife need to be safe, to be able to raise their families and also to find food. So, but, to me, these natural preserves are well worth any money that people put into trying to save this kind of a place for all of us to use. It's so important.